Hello and welcome to another Modeling on the Fly with 3ds Max. So let's see, on the last episode we were working on this panel up here up on the top of our little walker here. So let's go ahead and see if we can finish that up. Now in this case I'm using this image for reference. So I mean really all we've got left is a few random greebles. So if you want to skip the first part of this video, then fine, do it, see if I care. Or something. Alright. Let's see, let's make a box, and we'll stick it over here, and we'll add a little bit of thickness to it. And let's see, of course that's a little too tall, so we'll pull that down. And we'll convert this over to an editable poly. Let's get edges. I need to be able to see edges. That would make my life a lot easier. And I'm going to ring these around and do a chamfer with a few extra segments for rounding. And maybe just a little bit, there you go, just a little bit of extra goodness on top. So there we are. Now let's see, if I go to faces, we can grab this, jump down, do a bevel. That's a little bit of a bevel, so maybe a little less bevel, yeah? And there we go. And then just because I think we probably will end up needing to, let's grab the whole thing. And let's see, if I do smoothing groups of, say, about 25 degrees, then get out of there, and then get out of there, and the corners still show up, but I think at any given distance that'll be okay. Now if we take a look back over at the picture, that could actually be a little taller, but of course that's easily done, so I'm not too stressed about that. There's a funny little lump coming out the top. I'm not even going to worry about that. We'll just ignore that, pretend it's not there. Omit it would be the official word. And let's move here in parent space. We'll slide this up a little to make that taller. Now let's see. Let's just go ahead and cheat. We'll grab a chamfer box and we'll just draw that in right about here. Add a little bit of chamfer. The move tool out, and we'll just sink this down into the shape a little bit. So that takes care of that. In fact, I'm also going to sink this down in a little bit as well. Now, did we select something down through there? Oh no, I think I know what's going on. Yeah, we have just a multiple selection, so let's pull this guy down. And pull this down. Awesome. Okay, so that gets rid of a little bit of the excess height. Now, we've got little greebles that are kind of all over the place. And some extrusions here on the corner of, on the edges of this shape. You can see here and here. Now, I don't want to make those out of separate objects just because I don't want to try to line anything up. So I'm going to cheat. Let's see, let's grab... Well, you know, on second thought, nah, let's just be lazy. So we'll drag this up, give it a little bit of rounding, pull that down inside like so, and then I'm just going to rotate it. And we'll rotate locally. And we don't have any rotation snapping on, which is probably a good thing. So that is a little more parallel. And then we'll slide that over to the opposite side. Actually, let's just mirror it. That's so much easier. So world, transform coordinate center, mirror. Okay, awesome. Now, what else? Well, we've got little boxes and things everywhere. Feel free to just make these up as you go. So just little vanity greebles. And that's interesting. Now if we move that over to local space, I should be able to just make a few copies of that just kind of go here and there. So we'll shift drag one up here. And then let's grab both of them And we'll switch over to world, transform coordinate center, mirror, okay. So that puts them over there. Now I'm going to shift drag out another one. And we'll convert this one over to an editable poly. Frame up on it. And we need to pull it up a little higher. Let's switch over to vertices. I'll grab these verts and we'll slide them out. And grab these and slide them out as well. And we've got all kinds of little guys we could just sort of clone off just for extra detail. So just drag one of these over here, click OK, and just, I don't know, because I feel like I should, let's put one of these down here. Now actually, let me pull that back up. So we'll move that to, I don't know, not quite in the middle. Just kind of offset it. We do have those interesting little shapes right here, kind of trapezoidal wedge shapes. I'm sure there's a geometric name for it that I don't know. So let's go create shapes, and I'll make a line, and I'm just going to click, and that's awesome. Obviously, you can see I was playing with lines earlier. So let's right click, make that go away, turn off, enable in render and viewport. And say something kind of parallel, and then down, and then down, and then close, yes. Now, modify, and let's bevel that. Bevel, bevel, bevel. That doesn't look too bad. We don't need capping on the start, though. We just need capping on the end. And let's see. Let's see, start outline, no. Height, all this stuff. This is all wrong. No, 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 no. That'll do. I can work with that. So let's get out of there. Switch back over to world. Transform coordinate center. Mirror. Okay. And there we go. So now if we grab everything and go get our material once again and pop that on, then that all has some nice random greebly detail. So let's take a look at other panels moving across the top. Now we can't really see much in this image. Actually, well, we could do this area right here at the front. That should be nice and easy and fast and happy and all those other things. So let's see, let's hit 4. We've got 2 faces here. That's not bad. We can probably make use of that. I don't think it matters that we have 2. Let's just press F4 so we can see the edges that we're working with. Let's do an inset. Say to about here. Click OK. Now let's just do another inset. We'll do this in a slightly different way than we've been doing stuff so far. So we'll inset to about, say, here. Alright, and hit 2, grab this edge, go ahead and ring that, convert that to faces, bevel, and do a negative bevel, we have a negative outline, click OK, and extrude, indent, click OK. Now let's grab this face and this face, we're going to grow these once, and then let's see here. Let's see if we can just put these on local and pull that up a little. There we go. Okay, now we do have, if we take a look, some indented areas that have some ventilation duct work in them. So there's the air conditioning system. Now, to get that just right, here's what I'm going to do. Let's grab this face and this face, and let's do an inset, and we'll do this by polygon, by a whole bunch, so it's right about there. Now, let's do an extrusion. I'm just going to do what yeah, let's just assume it's going to do what I want. And if it doesn't, well, you know. Actually, let's do a bevel first. And then we'll do an extrusion. Well, yeah, you know, you could possibly not do that. Sorry, I'm going to go back and forth for just a minute. Let me do this. Let's go to edges. I want edges. Give me edges. I want this edge. And I want to make it planar in, well, not Y. Let's see. X is not going to do it. Z will do it, though. And then we can just slide it in a little ways. Actually, let's just do the same thing over here first. So in Z, grab the two together, and see what this is going to allow us to do is get that kind of difference in shape. And let's set this to selection center, and we'll just scale these in about like so. And we can grab these two edges, and I noticed that we need to kind of slide these up a little. So we'll slide them up a tiny little bit. Now, a couple of things. You and you and you and these two guys and their friends and their friends. Everybody at the frat house, we're going to make planar just in case. Kind of a double check sort of thing. Now let's grab these two faces, and now we'll bevel them. And, you know, maybe a stronger bevel this time, just because we can. And then an extrusion. And click OK. I'll make that a little deeper. Alright, sweet. Now, all we got to do is make the little ventilation system, which I'm going to make out of separate objects. But I am going to make it a little easy on myself when I do that. So let's do... Well, let's do it this way. Let's make an inset. We could do it on both faces, but I just don't see a need. So an inset to right about there, because we know that'll fit really nicely right about there. Click OK, and then I'm going to shift drag this out, clone to an object, get out of editable poly mode here. Let's grab our new object. And I'm just going to move it for a moment. And let's center up its pivot. Hey, how's it going? Now, let's see. If I grab its, I don't know, Z translate, in case I don't want to lose that, and then we can slide this up out of the way. Then we can go back over to this guy, hit 2, and then get rid of this excess detail that we now no longer need. Actually, let me get this guy. Nope. Not you. You, and let's do a ring. Grab these 4 edges. And remove. Awesome. Now, get out of editable poly mode. Grab this guy all by his lonesome. Let's paste in his Z translate. And I think I accidentally just copy-pasted again. Oh well. We'll just get it close and not worry about it. We know it fits anyway. Okay, now if we take a look at that picture, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 grooves in there if you want to get all hardcore about it. And assuming that we do, there's a bunch of ways we could do this. Let's see here. Let's grab edges here and here. And let's see, this little maneuver. So that would allow us for 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that'll probably work for what I got in mind. And now let's click OK. And then let's go in the other direction. So we'll ring these guys and then connect. Now, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need to make 6 individual cells here. So let's connect. There's 4, 5, 6, and click OK. Alright, now let's select polygons, and by angle, I don't really care what. As long as we have all of them, that should work great. And let's do an inset by polygon, and that's too much, so to right about here, I suppose. Click OK, and let's extrude a negative amount, and that's good. Now, we need to, of course, kind of complete this into a single unit, so that we can kind of see through it right now, and that's not so good. So let's switch over to edges. Let me hit 3. Let me grab borders. This border out here, and then I'm just going to shift drag this. Well, I'd like to go down, if it would let me just go straight down that way, but it doesn't want to, so let's see. That's interesting. Only when I shift drag does it start to get a little wonky. So, you know, I'll just make it up. We'll get it close. And let's see, we'll slide it back a little bit. Technically, I think that'll do just fine. Now, let's grab polygons again, still with the angle selection on. And let's do a really tiny bevel just to kind of help round things out. So a little bit of positive height, negative offset, click OK, get out of here, sink this back down into the object, press F4, and there we go. So I have some ventilation duct work up there. Now let's grab this piece, make sure we have it selected. And once again, world, transform coordinate center, mirror, okay. And that takes care of that. Awesome. So now, working our way across the top, we need to find a picture of the top. I know I got some buried in here somewhere. Now, just off camera, I've got the folder open. I love that picture, by the way. And there's all this great stuff. That's in wide vision. Very nice. Okay, let's see. I've got this kind of funky picture. I just got to dig it up. Bear with me. I'm kind of off camera looking at photos. Here we go. We got this guy. So we could take this as an indicator of what we should be doing, yeah? And we've got this interesting cutout. Notice, very interesting little kind of inserted edge there, cutaway kind of thing. And so let's create that. Sounds like fun. Now, let's see. If I was going to do this, here's how I would do it. We'd grab polygons here and here. And the whole thing needs to fit inside a certain area. So, like kind of the bounding box of the cutout. So let's make an inset that kind of defines that. And not by polygon, by entire group this time. And we'll say it goes into right about here. And we'll click apply. Now I'm going to make another one that goes into where we want that inside cutout to be. So basically, it would define this edge. Right here. And we'll grab that. Well, maybe we don't have to do that. So let's cancel that. Yeah, let's say we don't have to do that. Instead, let us switch over to edges. Give me this guy and this guy. Let's do a connection. And then we'll slide the connection over here. That way we only have one face that's going to be a problem child. Well, it's not really a problem. Just it's a way to look at it. Okay, so let's click OK. And now we'll grab the cut tool and make the little cutaway angle. Cut you. And go down to there. And yes, everything is fantastical. And everything's got to fit inside that, which we can do. Now, we've also got this sort of cutaway. And then we have another cutaway inside that we need to kind of pay attention to. So, to do that, actually, let me get... So that kind of lines up right there. So we could say that it goes out to about here. So let's just keep things simple again without using the cut tool. Let's get you, and we'll do a connection. And remove the slide. That actually is pretty close to where I need it to be. So we'll click OK. Now, I don't... Let's just try this. If I get all three of these guys... And actually, pardon me, let's double check. Yeah, that goes all the way out into the extra area there. So, yeah, let's just grab everybody out to here. Now, if I do a connection, we get this. And that's okay. Let me slide that. Ooh, everybody's sliding in different directions. All right, so let's click OK with whatever we can get out of that. Turn on edge constraints, and now let's see if we can make this planar in, well, let's just try. Y is already planar. There we go. X will do it. So now let's get out of edge, well, we'll leave edge constraints on for a second while I slide this over. And that's a little too far. Say to about there. Now, let's grab polygons again, and I want just these three. And we'll do an inset. Say to about there, click OK. Then I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox. I'm going to grab these edges and remove them, at least temporarily, so that we can do this. Let's grab these two polygons. Let's extrude them inward. About yay so far. Click OK. Now let me grab edges. I want this edge, and we'll ring all these. So I hit the ring button. And let's do not extrusion, let's do a chamfer by a relatively high amount with a couple of segments. And we get some really weird kind of pinching in sort of nastiness effect and some funny webby stuff going on up here. That's okay, hang on. We shall fix all of that. So let's cancel this. We don't want that edge and we don't want that edge. Now let's try that again. We're still going to get some kind of weirdness taking place up there. Hang on, I don't know about this. Let's just try another tactic. Let me grab vertices. In fact, let's see. Let's go to U and then convert that to vertices. That should be everybody at the corners. Now let's chamfer these vertices. And we can't really have segments when we do that. So let's go back to here. Oh. Boom. Let's try that. So let's apply. Let's go back to polygons. Convert that to vertices. Let's try chamfering again. So kind of get those centered up with one another. Click OK. Now that was wacky. Oh yeah, that's really crazy, and I don't care for it. No, this is not going to do what I want it to. Such is life, they say. So let's do it another way. If you can't beat it one way, beat it in one of 40 other ways you can come up with. I really want this to be a rounded panel. That's really all I'm going for if you haven't caught on to that yet. I'm going to delete these guys for now. Let's grab faces here and here, and let's extrude downward. Say to about there. Now, over to edges, and then we'll ring, and then I want to get rid of these two faces, and then let's chamfer. Three looks pretty good. Can extend that even further, though. And I like that. So we'll click OK. Now let's go back to our edges. I want this edge, and we're going to bridge those. Ooh, what did I just try to bridge? I don't know what it was, but let's not do that. I want this edge and make a bridge. And these two, make a bridge. Okay. Alright, and a little bit of weirdness over here, but that's to be expected with what's going on. So now, let's get these, and we'll just cap them for now. And we should have the result we were going for, which was a nice rounded inset. So that's nice. That's awesome. Okay, so before we go any further with that, we still have this kind of outer cutaway we need to work with here. So let's just see about this. If we grab faces, let me see if I can grab by angle. Wow, that's really extreme. Let's go with maybe just a 10-degree angle. That's all those. So still too much. We can't do it by angle. I got to be precise in my selection. Just this once. And let's see. Let's do... Can we do an inset without things getting too crazy? I think we should be able to. We just can't go too far. It actually could work out better than I thought. So let's pull that in to about there and click OK. Now I'm going to grab these two polys. Let's grow those. What does that get? Okay, and let's grow that. Nope, we don't want to grow that. Now let's pull these straight down, and basically we just built a bevel without really trying to. Now let's grab, let's see, edges here. Now if I ring this, I should be able to get all these guys on the inside, convert that over to faces, and that looks good. Now let's extrude these inward, like so. Let's see if we can get edges. Now what happens if I loop this? Well, not what I want, but because there's just too many options for it. So I'm going to grab all these outer edges all the way around and try looping one more time. That looks like it's going to help out just this once. Now let's chamfer all these. Woohoo! A little over the top there. Okay. And that takes care of that. Now, we've got this cutaway, which looks like it actually connects, and that's a bit of an issue given what we just did. I just thought of that, so let me see how far back. I don't think I can step back too far, thanks to Max's fantastic undo cube, but what we can do, though, is we can get this guy and this guy. Like, well, Zach, if you were any good, you wouldn't need undos. Alright. So now let's chamfer these guys, and not by that much. And we'll have to clean that up a little bit. We can do that. Click OK. That's a little weird, but it's, you know, tucked down there in the center, so I'm not going to worry about that. Let's move this over to world coordinates or view. Either one's fine. And just kind of straighten this out. In fact, we got it really close right there. Probably close enough that I'm not going to need to worry about it any further. Now, let's see. Let's grab these two guys. Let's do an extrusion. And that should be about to the same depth. Now we're going to remove some faces. Okay. And if we come over here and get vertices, we can grab what should be two verts there and weld them. And these two and weld. And just since we happen to be staring at it, we can fix that little guy. And fly over here to the other side. That looks okay. Come down here. And grab these two guys. And weld. And these two guys and weld. And grab target weld and fix the little dude in the middle. Alright. So now with that done, we should be able to switch over to edges. And let's just try a loop, and that doesn't get us anywhere. So boom, 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 boom. And get these guys and these two, and we'll try another loop. That helps us get a tiny little bit further. And loop again. Nope. Okay, there we go. And let's do a chamfer on these. And that's just a little bit, but that should work. And looks like, yeah, I knew something right there looked like it needed some fixing. Whoa, is edge constraint on? Yes. There we go. Okay, so we should have all the cutaways we need at that point. So let's press F4, get away from that. And the only thing I can think to do now would be to raise this spot up a little bit. So we'll do an inset, just by a little, click OK, extrude, positively, click OK, do a bevel. So those are some pretty heavy lines up there, but I still think it works, so we'll go with it. Now, let's see, if we go back over here, we've still got little greebles and whatnot, but we're to a point where the video kind of needs to come to a close, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up here, and we will pick back up in the next episode. I wanted to thank you all for watching. A big thank you to all of our member sponsors who make all these free videos possible. Thank you so much, and that will wrap things up for this episode of Modeling on the Fly with 3ds Max. I'll catch you next time.